I first want to say thank you for pushing the button. Secondly, excuse anything that's going on here that may distract you. As usual, I am in my robe because right after meditation is when I get the deepest and most profound downloads that I like to share. And I wanted to welcome you if you would like to open up to your intuitive gifts moving into 2025. And if you're here to hear the continuation of the saga and drama of my family being incarcerated right after Thanksgiving, you have come to the right place because I didn't want to type about it. I wanted to talk about it this time. So I have a most amazing Thanksgiving with all of my friends and family in Atlanta. And my family member begins to drive actually to a facial. And then right after the facial, in Cobb County, he is supposed to travel back home. And on his way to just getting a facial, he is apprehended by two cop cars, probably four officers, and is then detained for over 10 days for a crime that he did not commit. And that the state itself has accused him of. And we only realized that 3 days after he was detained. Now, if you rewind the story a little bit and you read the post from earlier this week, when he was first detained, I got the message from his facial appointment that he would not. That he did not attend his facial. And I knew that this was really important to him. And so trying to find him, he literally disappeared and I didn't know where he was. And so I immediately went into what I call my spidey senses, which is the intuitive heart space or that still small voice within to geolocate him, right? Spiritually geolocate him. So if you don't know about spiritual gifts and you don't know about uh, being able to see or having the gift of seeing, there have been folks from the FBI to your local police precincts that when they're trying to solve a crime, they will reach out to a psychic. And you've seen so many probably shows about this, but they reach out to a psychic to use their spiritual gifts of telepathy, which is clear hearing. They're being able to physically see where the suspect is or the person who has been hurt, what has happened to them. So a lot of federal, local governments, the government, right, uses folks for their special spiritual gifts in order to locate folks and to solve crimes. And so this kind of gift is very real, and plenty of us share this gift, but we suppress it for one reason or another. And so because of all the work that I've been able to do with sound healing and aligning my own gifts and elevating my own gifts, surrounding myself with other folks who help me to expand this gift, I was immediately led to use my own gift to see where my family member was. And so I could hear that he was safe, but I didn't know where he was. And so I picked up the phone and I called someone who I knew would, right? Because they weren't under the stress. So that's another lesson, is that when you have a tremendous amount of stress, on your physical body, it shuts down parts of your brain and your intuition. And so you have to call in community. And in calling in community who are not stressed at the moment, they can geolocate for you, right? So whether it be the teacher that you learned under, a friend that you know has this spiritual gift, they can call up the energy of the person in the situation and be able to communicate that with you clearly. I have used this gift in other ways my whole adult life. Okay, so this is how my business was able to thrive, at such a young age. This is how I've kept my son safe for years and years. This is how I've been able to interpret dreams and predictions and prophecies in order for myself and my family members to thrive and be in good health. So I call in this, my godfather, and he immediately, while on the phone, I had to hang up, call back, nothing. I said, I need to know where this person is. He found him immediately and said he is safe. He's surrounded by, three or four people. He's trying to make a deal. He's going to be able to call you in 2 hours. That's how precise it was. And within an hour and 27 minutes, my phone was ringing from my family member saying that he was okay. And so now we had to figure out, why is he being detained? Because he doesn't know why he's being detained. He doesn't know why he's being surrounded by the police. And then also, how do we, release him? And after many hours, and he was booked for charges, it said that he had no bond and that he was under a federal warrant uh, for being a felony, because he fled the state when he wasn't supposed to flee a state, is what we maybe assumed was happening. And so once again, I have to set my sights on, how do we now free him from this triangle of misunderstanding? And what is happening within me is that I'm seeing a certain empathic pull that is taking me away from the truth of my heart center, right? So now my spiritual gifts are now being poured into, oh my God, freaking out. How do we get him free? Right? He is uncomfortable. He's upset. I'm connecting with his fear. And so I had to take a step back and go into my own heart space and say, what is the best way for me to help him with the gifts that I have right now? And it is not to connect with this feeling of fear and this feeling of bondage, right? This is a time that I need to collect all of my forces in order to help him to be free. So my first thing was in advising him to visualize himself out of the situation and completely free, right? So that he doesn't get trapped in the circumstances that he's in, where he's at fear, he's feeling worthless, he's feeling negative about himself. So helping him with that, and then helping myself to say, I am here right now, I am present, and the gifts that I have can be utilized in the best possible way in calling in the forces. So this is when I heard the call of, call the rich aunties, right? So after we figure out all of the logistics of what is going on, I've prayed for him. I have talked to him. We are on one accord in terms of visualizing him getting out, expanding our heart space and our protection space so that nothing happens to him physically while he's detained, and so that he doesn't emit energy of anger, fear, and frustration, just elevating a trapped mentality, right? And so as I call in the aunties, y'all, when you call in your spiritual community and they love you and they are for you and they understand your family, the prayers that they spoke, the energy immediately shifted and changed. Not only was there a freedom, I was able to then find an attorney that was both licensed in Georgia and in the state where these charges were pressed, where they were saying that he had fled the state, although did not know that there was any kind of charges against him whatsoever. The rich aunties were able to navigate even low to no cost, advice for him, a clarity and an understanding around the public defender that was called in on his case, and to redirect her energy so that she is then responsive to us, because she was not responding. She acted like, he's just a huge long caseload. And so all of a sudden she starts responding, right? Everyone is calling, checking in on me, checking in on him, making sure that he has every resource that he needs, making sure that I have every resource that I need, right, in order for him to move forward in clarity towards freedom, right? This is where I saw so many signs of my ancestors being physically present with me in order to make these things happen. Why are the ancestors important? Okay, so the ancestors are important because so many of us have been through generation after generation after generation of incarceration, of false imprisonment, of of death, right, at the hands of colonizers. And so there's an embedded fear of the law, right? There's this embedded fear that as we live here, we are not free. And so calling in the ancestors who have in the past already navigated these types of situations and who will protect and open roads to resources for you to um, rise above these situations without regressing into the past trauma of defeat, right? You can take this situation for any situation, right? Even if it's a romantic relationship where you're seeing a repeat in your family lineage of poor communication, right? And being able to elevate from that place so that everything can work with ease, right? And also the perspective of learning the lessons of who to trust, who not to trust, how to trust in ourselves. All of these are tools that our ancestors are able to guide us through because they're just one elevation past us, right? They're not gone from the earth and not caring about what happens to their children, whether they've been through this and they've seen negative results and they're wanting to help us, or whether they've seen positive results and they can help us to get the resources that we need, right? Our ancestors are a force of nature and of lack of a better word, karma, that can elevate us if we are able to listen, right? If we are able to be guided, if we seek their counsel, then they are our guardians, whether we know them or whether we don't know them. It is of their benefit, right, as well for their families, which is us, to be in a better place. So that's a little key from those of us who say, you know, my dad was never there for me, so why would I be calling on my ancestors? Or my grandparents were shitty McShitties, like why would I be calling on them? It is because they understand the trauma that they have put into place. And when you're in that a space of ethereal being, it's of your advantage to heal your lineage so that your light can expand in love. I hope that that made sense. This was a longer, longer version, but I wanted to be clear about what community means in a spiritual sense. And I also wanted to explain that it is our spiritual gifts and our freedom that really aid us during the most difficult times, as well as elevate and give us so much gratitude during our times of ease. And these are areas that I've had to learn over years and years, right? In my practice of voodoo, I learned how to use herbs, energy, the forces of prayer in order to change things for people. That's what voodoo is about. I learned through Buddhism and through the combination of voodoo how to tap into your ori. Your ori is your higher self, or what they call your still small voice within, right? Combining those things as well as sound healing, right? Sound healing is there for me every single day so that I can energetically realign myself to love, so that my empathic nature doesn't get caught in ways that don't make sense for my body, my mind, or my spirit, so that I can be in alignment with the hearing, the sensing, and the knowing that my gifts provide. Whew. I didn't plan or think about any of that. It just came out so seamlessly, and I'm glad that it did. I hope that you have enjoyed this mini podcast YouTube moment. I hope that it seeds and fosters some knowing and some wisdom within you. And I pray that next year you join me in some way, whether that be with an organization that you're in or you're leading, or you as an individual who would love to have some mentorship and community, then reach out, because this is what I'm starting next year. I'm not sure if it's going to be called Calling in Clarity like it was last year, but it still feels very much in the essence of understanding, you know, your calling and having very, very, very clear, directed, intuitive gifts that help you to reach that vision for yourself in all areas of your life. And I would love to be your guide and your helper and your mentor in that walk and in that road. All right. I will talk to you in a couple of days.